Wales, a New Orleans-centric podcast exploring Southern Gothic stories, history, and hauntings, with your host, paranormal and fantasy author, Nola Nash. Find out more at nolanash.com. Now, let's talk about dead people.
Oh, y'all, I am so excited tonight. I have been looking forward to this for, gosh, I don't know how long we've been talking about this, like 2 or 3 weeks now. It has been just such a pleasure, even through email, getting to know Terrence and his beautiful wife Cynthia. So Cynthia's back there watching us too. I know she's back there in the background. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you two-time Grammy Award winner, Terrance Simien. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for being here.
Nola, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor and a pleasure.
Oh, we've been chatting and getting to know each other, but for the folks that don't know you, that maybe haven't heard your music, and shame on them, because they need to get on the internet right now. Okay, after the show, y'all go on the internet, find you some music by Terrance Simien, and I guarantee you're going to be wiggling in your seat because it is dancing music. It is so much fun. So Terrance, tell me a little bit about how you got into Zydeco. It was very, very young. And I love how you just have really come up in this music.
Well, I was very lucky to grow up in that whole culture, the Creole culture of the prairies and the swamp, and our music was always a big part of who we were. We'd always have, like, as a kid, I was going to dances at our church hall. I grew up Catholic, and as a fundraiser, the priest came up with this idea. Father Barnett was his name, and he was one of the first to do this sort of thing, where have a benefit dance, they call it, where they raise money for the church, and people would come out and enjoy the music, enjoy the cultural music, the Zydeco music, keeping the culture alive, keeping the tradition alive of the families, and in the music. And so I've been exposed to this music very young. I started my band when I was 16 years old, and we've been at it ever since. And back in 1981, when I first started playing Zydeco music, just about all the guys who had Zydeco bands were about 20 years older than I was. And most of the people who listened to the music was older. And but I fell in love with the music, hearing the stories the old people told about these musicians like Amédée Aldouin, Clifton Chenier, and just all that made me want to play this music, made me appreciate this music, and made me appreciate how much this music means to who we are in the Creole community of South Louisiana.
And I think that it is so, it's just so much a part of the culture in South Louisiana. I mean, everybody's heard about Mardi Gras. You watch the Mardi Gras parades on national television. They've got clips of it, and a lot of the times the music that you're hearing that you are associating with carnival season is Zydeco. I mean, it really is. I mean, you can't not have Mardi Gras mambo, right? I mean, and everybody knows this sound. But whether or not they know what it is and know why it's so important to South Louisiana, they're going to get into the music. You can't help it. It's just get up and move and dance music. And I know I grew up down there too. And so it's festival music. It's, anytime you had a big festival, whether it was a crawfish festival or just any time of year, there was a Zydeco band that was going to be playing. And I fell in love with that music at a young age too. Now, I told you I'm not musically talented, so I wasn't going to be playing that music, but I was going to be dancing to that music out there in the crowd with everybody. And, you on the stage, though, you've had some pretty cool experiences in that long career that you have had. I mean, starting so young, you've got more stories to tell than we've got time for. But what are some of your favorite experiences that you've had performing?
Well, meeting some of the great musicians like Clifton Chenier, Art Neville, Alan Toussaint, Dr. John,
Mm.
Cyril Neville. I mean, the names can go on and on and on. I've been that fortunate to where I was able to meet my uh, my heroes,
Mm-hmm.
people who I look up as legends, and people who inspired not only me but a world of other people, and yeah, I mean, it just sometimes I think back of certain things that happened, like recording with Paul Simon when I was 19 years old, when he
You did
came down to
not.
Louisiana to do Graceland. And, being in the studio with Art Neville, um, working on a song that I wrote with Dennis Quaid, the lead actor from the Big Easy, movie The Big Easy. And, you know, meeting Art Neville, who's like meeting a god to me, you know what I'm saying? He
Well,
was
yeah. I mean, Louisiana music, he is.
and just seeing him and seeing, this dude could be my uncle and he could be my cousin, and making that connection,
Mhm.
that positive connection with somebody from the community, and it's just I can go on and on and on of things that uh, the Almighty has bestowed the blessings for so many years. I mean, I feel like the luckiest person on earth most
And
of the
in a
time when I
big
think
way,
back at
boy,
all of it.
he blessed you big, boy. He blessed you big and all of those things. I mean, just the talent that you have, the the amazing connections that you've been able to make, and 2 Grammy Awards. I mean, a Zydeco musician with 2 Grammy Awards is sitting here talking to me, and we're just hanging out, and I'm still not over this. I don't know when I will be over this. So, Terrence, tell me a little bit about the Grammy experience. What did you win it for? First, both of them for folks that don't know, and what was that like when you found out that that's Grammy is going to be part of your life?
You know, it was a Grammy journey. Okay, I had been a part of the Recording Academy for over 10 years, a voting member, and my wife, who I can I bring her
Please do.
because
Please
she
bring
never
Cynthia. She
they
is
always talk
gorgeous.
to me about this, but she's the force that she's the one who who got this happening.
Mhm.
A category for Zydeco and Cajun music. Okay.
There she is.
Yeah, wait. You know what? I'm gonna do something, and I know she's not gonna feel comfortable. I'm gonna sit in this chair just for a little minute. Okay, I'll be right back. I want you to sit down in this chair, and I want you to talk about how okay,
I know.
she
Hi, Cynthia.
got a Grammy category, not just for us, but for Zydeco and Cajun music.
Tell us about it.
It was a journey, Nola. Yeah, and I've had a martini.
Hey, we
You got
drink
one
on
too?
this show. I've got mine. It's
So
a
yeah.
standard operating procedure.
Okay, perfect. Then I'm in the right place at the right time.
Yes, ma'am.
So yeah, yeah, it was kind of an epiphany for me when I realized that after Clifton Chenier and Queen Ida and Rockin' Sydney Simeon had all won Grammys in the mid '80s, that we didn't have a lot of Grammy winners after that, and it was about the category structure of the Recording Academy. So I got into the weeds, took the deep dive, and took us about 7 years, but we were successful. We all took a victory lap. It was a big collaborative effort. A lot of people, leadership, tourism. Terrance Simien, my partner. We made the trek to Memphis. Our chapter was in Memphis. It was the Memphis chapter of the Recording Academy. And he was on the board, and so we'd make the drive, and we'd press the palm, and we'd, plead our case, and we submitted a couple applications, went through the, all the the required process, and it was a process. And so, 7 years later, we were successful, and then Terrance won a couple. After that, I became a trustee of the Recording Academy, the first woman actually from the who was elected trustee
Congratulations.
to the Memphis chapter. So yeah, it was quite an honor to serve in that capacity. So all right, so
Well done, lady. Well
If we're
done.
gonna talk about Grammy, I had to let you know the driving force behind my Grammy.
Well,
Your
and I
Grammy
think that
journey.
My
was
Grammy journey.
Grammy journey.
Yes. Okay. So there you are. That was, one and done. And yeah, I mean, Terrance is still active with the Recording Academy, and I'm still really connected to so many people. And we have a lot to be grateful for that they understood that they needed to recognize these genres in their own category.
Yes.
We've since had some restructuring of the awards, but you know what? We changed their vocabulary.
And
Nola.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you, darling.
Nice work. Nice work. And what a gentleman sharing the spotlight with your lovely bride.
Hey, it take a teamwork. Teamwork make the dream work,
You got it.
And my
You got
whole
it.
journey has been about team and not just me.
Mhm.
Everybody in my band, everybody who I played with throughout the years, everybody who mentored me, people like Art Neville, Dr. John, Taj Mahal. I've been mentored by the best, man. And I try to soak in as much as I can information that and knowledge that they have to just genuine. I mean, just so generous to offer it to me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm never gonna be not even close to what they are or who they are. I'm just gonna be a student always. And but I can't thank all my mentors enough, and I can't thank the Almighty for putting me in a place where you know we all commune together.
You're so humble. For somebody who is so talented, you've played over 9,000 concerts in your career, right? I mean,
Something like
did I read that right?
that.
9,000 concerts in your career. And your band, man, they are fun to watch. They are just so much fun to watch. Y'all look like, even after 9,000 concerts, you still are enjoying every minute of being up there on stage. How does that feel after all this time to take that stage yet again?
The older you get, the older I get, let me just speak for myself, the more I realize how much of a blessing it is to be able to be a performer and a musician and to entertain and have an audience in front of you. I mean, I look forward to every gig. I talked about, this year my band turned 40. So it's been 40 years since I had my band. I started it in 1981. And I thought by now I'd be a little burnt out, and kind of like want to take up the rocking chair. No,
Take up the
man.
rock.
There's no such thing as a rocking chair when the audience is still rocking to your music.
I love
So
it.
it's like
Perfect.
for me, I look forward to every gig. I know now more than ever how much of a blessing it is, and how privileged I am to be able to do it. That my health allow me to do it, my mind allow me to do it, all the things, and the people who support the music mainly are the ones who allowed me to do it. And I want to thank everybody out there for your love and support all these years. And we made it all together. Whatever we accomplished, we all did it together, all of us.
Yes, sir. Now, that was a sneaky segue on my part because I asked how you feel about performing. You gonna perform for me?
Yeah, I can do something. I can do
All
something.
right.
We on vacation. We're in Pensacola right now, so I didn't bring an instrument with me, but I have my voice,
And that is
and
an
I
instrument in
have
itself.
have a little story to go with that.
Oh, do
Okay.
tell. All right, it's all you.
Well, the earliest form of Creole music, which became Zydeco music, is a style called the jure. Now, the jure is the style of Zydeco Creole music that was done. All the lyrics were in French. You use your hand, your feet, and your voice. Those were your instruments. No accordion. This is before the accordion, the violin, the rubboard, all of that came later. But our music started like that. Okay, that's where it began. And John and Alan Lomax did field recordings back in the 1930s of this music. So they were able to actually save this, so we can have something to listen to
Wow.
and hear where it all started. And they were quoted when they heard this style of music in French, and it was done by people who had, African Americans who were speaking French, and they said it was the most African sounding music they heard in the United States. And for them, at that time, they were going all over the United States making these recordings for the Library of Congress, and for them to make that statement, man, I'm really proud of that. You know what I'm saying? Because when you listen to the jure, you can hear the origins that our music come from Africa more than it come from anywhere else on the planet. And a lot of times people get it confused, but it's a it's an African style of music. Black French speakers created this, and those people are called Creoles, the Creoles.
No.
Yeah, yeah. So okay, this is an old Juve song, and
All
it's
right.
about it's sad, it's called the prison balls, and Canray Fontenot did a version of this using the violin. Canray, who was a great Creole fiddle player who played with Amadeo Boisec Audouin and Canray Fontenot played together. Boisec on the accordion and Canray on the violin. But this song is one of the old Jouet songs. And back in the day, where the Jouet version of that is, it's called the Prison Blues, and it goes like this. Goodbye, Shabema. Goodbye, Paul, your pa. Goodbye à mes frères et mon cher Tito. Mon Tito condamné pour la ballon de mon vie dans les balles à prison. Mon j'ai mis à ma faire. J'ai valé la tête et rentré dans le tracas. À ce je suis condamné pour la ballon de mon vie dans les bas la prison. Mon premier moment à sa mise si j'ai genoux, c'est demain dilaté, l'ombre en poumon, m'a dit ouh, cher petit garçon, mange va jamais tes lois, toi t'as été condamné pour la valeur de ton vie, dans les bas la prison. Tu dis c'est bien moment, repas pour mon, produit prix pour ton amour, posé sauver son nom, de les prendre dans la terre. That's it.
Dang,
That's our music. That's where the music started. From the Jure to Amédée to Clifton Chenier to where the music is today. Yeah,
Yes,
it keeps on
sir.
going. It keeps on going. And I try to, explain to people because they hear Zydeco music at a certain period and think that, hey, if you don't play it like that, you're not playing this Zydeco. But from the Jure to Amédée to Clifton to where it is today, It's a It's a yeah. Now you see, I lost my train of thought. I love my wife, but I like her to be out of the room when I'm doing my interview. She's getting ahead of me. It's all good. I'm messing with her. She's good. She means well. But the foundation of Zydeco music, all right, is the fact that it did connect with different generations to keep it alive. And it's still evolving. Like all styles of music. Country music evolves. R&B evolves. Rock and roll evolves. All styles of music. And Dr. John, this is what my wife wanted to make sure I said.
I love me some Dr. John, so I want to hear about
Dr.
him.
John, my brother in heaven, man, he said, okay, can I say like the SHIT word on there? On that? Because I want to.
Well, if it's what he said.
Okay, let me say it like he said.
We got to quote Dr. John correctly.
All right. If the shit ain't changing, the shit is dying.
That sounds like Dr. John.
And that's exactly what he said. He broke that down to where everybody can understand it. Even a sixth grader can figure that out.
You're not going to miss that one.
It's just people care about the music and don't feel a need to speak out, and their intentions are good. They think it's gonna preserve and protect, but they actually, like they starting a forest fire. Okay, they burning down the tradition of evolution, of the music being accepted by the source people of the music, the Creoles from the source of the music. Okay?
Yep.
So I try to, that's part of my mission now, is to educate people who want to know the truth about our history. Because we've had some people, like I said, that met well. They had good intentions. They wrote books and did things, that was so inaccurate. And we have to go back and do damage control, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
And so my mission is to tell the truth about my people, and to whoever want to know, the truth. And so it's part of what I do,
Now, keeping that tradition alive, you have done something, and I guess it's been in the last 20 years, you've actually started Zydeco Music for Kids. And so you've actually, it's not just when you were a kid, it was all the older people you said that were in the Zydeco, but you've actually really targeted this younger audience to help them appreciate that music. And I've been playing on, a couple of different sites on my Facebook pages. I was sharing the Wishing to Go Crawfishing song because I'm sorry, it just makes me dance. I love that song, and it's an adorable video. Y'all go to the Dead Folks Tales Facebook page. Check that out. It's a lot of fun. And bringing the music to the kids, that's something that you guys are passionate about, right?
Yeah, very passionate about it, and it's the example of a lot of the older people from our community. I remember Wilbert Guillory, the guy who was instrumental more than anybody else in starting the original Zydeco Festival in Plaisance, Louisiana. And, at one time, the festival was drawing like 15,000 people, okay? And it was every Labor Day. And Wilbert's mission was to get the kids involved, to teach the kids about their culture, their history, so they could be proud about it, proud enough about it to where they want to keep it alive, and pass it on to their kids and their grandkids, So, this is a mission that we on, we wanna educate the world and share the information that we have collected over the years, over the 40 years of playing music and 56 years living in the culture. a lot of our history was handed down orally, you know, and if you're not from the neighborhood, you know, we got different dialects of French, you know, within different little neighborhoods in South Louisiana. So, and different slang and stuff like that, you know, it's like if you don't understand what people are saying, then you really can't tell the story correctly. And to understand what people are saying in a certain community, in a certain village, you have to come from that village, you know? So this is what we're doing. It's called Creole for Kids and the History of Zydeco. And since we've been doing this, we've reached kids in many different parts of the world. And every kid have the same reaction. Every student, I don't like to call them kids. I like to call them students. Every student have the same reaction. It's like, wow, what's this? This is happy. This is happy music. You know, this is joy. You know? And so we try to share the joy and the history through our performance and through the music. You know, on our CD Creole for Kids in the History of Zydeco, we have narration and also the songs kind of explain, you know, the journey we taking them on. You know, journey into the Creole world where they go in the swamps and the prairies, the crawfish bars, the trail rides, and
all the fun stuff.
The gumbo, the jambalaya, you know, and just, you know, it's not just Louisiana history, it's American history, it's world history. And it's a good example of how people came together from so many different parts of the world. My family, my last name is Simien. My family's been in Louisiana since 1756.
Wow.
Documented in the courthouse in St. Landry Parish, y'all. And
Goodness.
my ancestors, you look at me, you can tell, from all over the world, man. I'm part French, I'm part African, Spanish, Native American, and German, and Irish, I just found out. So I'm a jambalaya. I've got jambalaya DNA. But the music and the culture and the food is influenced by all these cultures coming together. All of them, all of them. But I have to say the African influence is the dominant, influence on it all. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing when things come together, you know?
It
They
is.
get better.
Now,
Beautiful.
it is beautiful. And so many people have had the privilege of seeing you play year after year. It was what, 34 years
30, well, the
at
first year,
Jazz Festival? Is it Jazz
the
Fest?
first year was in 1986, and I've been every year since. So whatever that amount to.
That is amazing. Now, you're not getting to do it this year. You guys have something else going on because it's a virtual event this year, right?
I think so. I'm not sure what's
You have another
planned.
festival coming up, though, don't you?
Yeah, we have. Well, no, we're not doing any festivals this year. We working. You know, we're on the road. My next tour coming up is going to be in New Mexico and the Pacific Northwest, and this is the 2 last weeks of October this month.
Okay. What do people up there think about Zydeco music? Have they ever heard of it before? Do you get a whole lot of, what is this? This is fun?
Believe it or not, man, a lot of people have heard of the music, and especially in the Pacific Northwest, because, you know, there was a lot of people from Louisiana who moved to California during like World War II, and they, you know, in other times, I mean, even before that. And but they brought that culture with them, you know. That's some musicians like from my family, the Simien family, Joe Simien, John Simien. They were all like great accordionists, great Creole musicians that brought the music there and played there. You know, you have young bands like Andre Theory now, and a few other guys that's on the West Coast and that are working like crazy, man, and turning people on to the music. And we've been, you know, my first time playing in the Seattle area was in 1986. and we've been back and forth several times, and California. I mean, I've been touring since 1986, like 1985.
You got me tired.
Non-stop, and I look forward to every show still, and it's like,
I love
we
that.
drive most of this stuff, I'll drive 50,000 miles a year, and I do most of the driving, and I love to drive, because I know I'm going where the party is,
That's
I'm going to meet some people that's going to welcome me with open arms and been waiting for the music to come to them. Boy, man, we had some fun.
What a feeling. What a feeling. And you have come by your musical roots, honestly, in your recording and playing with your family, and you have passed that on. Your daughter is also a musician. Tell the folks a little bit about her before we have to wrap up. I want to make sure she
Well,
gets a
thank
shout
you
out
so
as
much for
well.
mentioning my daughter, man. She's Marcella Simeon, and she's lives in Memphis. She graduated from the Memphis College of Art and became, started playing gigs while she was in college. And then once she got out of college, it became a full-time job for her because she was able to pull it off some kind of way. But
Good
she's
girl.
way better than her dad, Elizabeth. She's a better musician. She looked way better. Okay, that don't take much, but she got that covered. And she's a great singer, great songwriter. She writes some killer songs, man. And it's like, this was something that we never really pushed her to do.
Mhm.
If we always felt like if it's meant for you to do it, you're gonna do it. You're gonna figure out how to do it, and you're gonna do it, and we'll be here to support you and help you any way we can. But we're so proud of her being Cynthia. I mean, it's just our girl, man. Our girl, she's doing good.
Awesome. I am so glad that you shared her story with us, that you have shared your story with us. And I know you have so many more, and I want to hear them all. So I hope that you will come back
Oh
and
yeah, let's
visit
do
with us
this
another
again.
time.
We're
Because,
just getting started.
yes, I know there's so much to talk about, and I am enjoying the heck out of this. And I am so glad that you let Cynthia jump in that chair for a little bit too and share your Grammy journey with us. That is just what an amazing family that you guys are, and what a
Thank you,
story
Nola.
you have together. And just, with your band, with your family, it's that is such a South Louisiana thing. It's that family and, joining together for something that you believe in, that you're passionate about, and you just embrace that South Louisiana spirit and embody that South Louisiana spirit so much with your family. And it has truly been my pleasure to have this time to talk to you and your beautiful bride this evening. And I just thank you so very much for spending this little bit of time with me. And I look forward to doing it again. I really do.
Nola, I can't thank you enough for spending this. Where did the time go? It went
I
by way too
know.
fast. And your family.
Oh.
We had this talk before. The
Mhm.
listeners don't know this, but before we got on, we were talking about our families, and
Mhm.
your children are doing amazing things. I know you really proud,
I
and
am.
it's so good to know you, sit down and talk to you. Let's do this again.
Please, sir, let's do this again. Absolutely. And, Cynthia, you come on too anytime, girl. I know you're still back there.
Come on, girl.
Come
Come
on and
on
tell the
in.
people.
Yeah,
Let
you
them see
live
it
to
one more
be.
time. Look at that beautiful family. Ah, y'all are absolutely the best. Y'all hang out for me just a few minutes as we wrap up this show here, so I can give you a proper goodbye as well. And thank you so much for joining us tonight, and thank you for joining
You
us
are
on another episode of Dead Folks Tales.
You are fabulous. Thank you,
Thank
Nola.
you, Nola.
Thank you.
Nola.
Dead Folks Tales is a copywritten podcast of Authors on the Air Global Radio Network. Special thanks to producer Roman Suritin and executive producer Pam Stack. Join us next week for another episode of Dead Folks